Now, what do you have are bullets, and the hope that when your guns are empty, I'm no longer standing, because if I am, you'll all be dead before you've reloaded.
That's impossible! Kill him.
In the heart of this great city, we saw tragedy arrive on a quiet morning. September the 11th. September the 11th. September the 11th.
September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11th.
September 11th, September 11th.
September 11th, September 11th.
September 11th, September 11th. September 11th, September 11th.
September 11th, September 11th, September 11th. September 11th, September 11th, September 11th. September 11th, September 11th, 2001.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam.
Saddam.
Saddam. Saddam.
Saddam Hussein.
War and danger.
Continuing danger.
Hour of danger.
Very, very dangerous world.
A grave new threat.
Horrific acts of atrocities.
Murderous regimes.
Dedicating to killing us.
Tyranny and terror.
Slaughtered thousands.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Weapons programs.
The deadliest of weapons.
Terrible weapons.
Nuclear weapons.
Nuclear weapons.
Poison gas.
Torture chambers.
Mass graves.
Deadly technologies.
Radical ideology of hate.
Terror of threats.
Terror.
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 War on terrorism.
War against terrorism.
Global war on terror.
Global terrorism. 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 Terrorism. Terrorism.
Terrorism.
Terrorism.
Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism.
The evil terrorists. 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 Terrorists.
Terrorist, 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 terrorist.
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 Terrorists. Terrorists.
Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists.
If you really want to know the truth about the state of Iraq's weapons of mass destruction before the invasion, listen to Colin Powell in February 2001. He states clearly that there was no threat from Saddam Hussein.
He has not developed any significant capability with respect to weapons of mass destruction. He is unable to project conventional power against his neighbors.
And this is Condoleezza Rice, Bush's national security advisor, in July of the same year, saying the same thing, putting the lie to their own propaganda.
We are able to keep arms from him. His military forces have not been rebuilt.
And that, many believe, was the truth, a truth that was covered up and conveniently forgotten after September the 11th, when Bush and Blair decided to attack Iraq. They found no weapons of mass destruction, no links with Al-Qaeda, no nuclear weapons, no 45-minute threat. The invasion had been planned long ago. In July last year, Condoleezza Rice told another Bush official, "That decision has been made. Don't waste your breath." This is not what Bush told the American people. It's now reliably estimated that up to 10,000 civilians may have died in the attack on Iraq. Joe Wilding, a human rights observer in Baghdad during the bombing, saw the suffering.
I and a few other observers were being taken around the hospital by one of the doctors, and he was introducing us to some civilian casualties from the previous day, and he was called away to the emergency room. So he took us with him, and as we walked in, there was a woman, probably in her mid-30s, just screaming over and over, "We're farmers, we're farmers." And she had a little boy in her arms. He was 4, his name was Mohammed, and the whole right-hand side of his face was cut up by shrapnel. And then there were other women in there. There was a little girl, and she was just screaming every time anyone moved her, screaming when they took her into the X-ray room, screaming when they brought her out again. And the doctor pulled back the covers and showed us this huge gouge out of her thigh, and they were trying to clean it, and they didn't have enough anesthetics or painkillers or anything, so she was just screaming and screaming as they tried to clean this wound. All of them were just in so much pain, and then Fateh, the youngest of the daughters, was 8, and she was killed in the bombing, and Fadma was just stained with all their blood and just going from one to another, picking them up.
The American media played a vital role in the invasion and the deception. Instead of challenging the propaganda, it echoed and amplified it. Iraq is the world's second biggest oil producer, and its conquest gives America a vast base from which to dominate the Middle East. It's been a conquest achieved at any price, including truth.
It was serious dishonesty, the result of which includes the fact that thousands of Iraqis have died. Hundreds of soldiers from our own countries have tragically died.
flesh. Beneath this mask there is an idea, Mr. Creedy. And ideas are bulletproof.